it started off fake again and then it turned real.
No, mine was real from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag Yon Gang. What's up, heathens?
Hey.
Anyways, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Last time, we had Eliphaz from the Phase clan who was accusing Job on being a shitty person, and he had a list of grievances, like he was participating in that Festivus.
Oh, yeah.
Celebration from Seinfeld. Anyways, today, Bill's dad is going to be coming back, and he's going to be explaining how people just can't be righteous. So fuck them all. And the reason why people can't be righteous is because, of course, women. Fucking women.
I know. We're the root of all things evil.
Eating fruit, and now nobody can, be righteous at all. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean...
So this isn't me saying it. This is the Bible saying it. Anyways, Job tells them to shut the fuck up and fuck off because they're not really helping the situation here. So they might as well just sit down and be quiet.
Yeah. The exact opposite of our little motto, huh?
Yes, the exact opposite.
Sit down, shut the fuck up.
Well, to be fair, the people that don't really help out at all in any kind of capacity, for the world, we also tell to sit down and shut the fuck up. So
I mean, that's not untrue.
Like flat earthers.
We don't have to talk about them. This is not about them.
Anyways, Job goes on to say that we cannot understand God.
He's mysterious.
The mind of God. He is mysterious. He's so mysterious.
Works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. So we really just need to stop trying to understand him. Because we can't understand how he hangs the earth above nothing and everything like that. Apparently the earth's stationary in this particular worldview.
Why are we going back to flat earthers?
Oh, well, no, actually that's geocentrism. Not exactly flat earth.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but that's one of the things. We don't necessarily have to be flat earth to be, geocentric.
True.
But
that's part of the, as far as the time that this is written in, that's part of the cosmology. Anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to try to bring up anything tangentially related to flat earth shit. It's just the Bible doing it, so blame it. Job is going to be maintaining his faith and innocence throughout this entire thing. So basically, if you're in a courtroom and it's like, come on, man, we all know you did it. Come on, just say you captured Han Solo and Carbonite. We all know it.
Didn't do it.
And he's just standing there like, nope, I didn't do it. And I'm going to maintain my faith in a God that's never shown his face. And also, I'm innocent of that particular charge of the Carbonite thing.
I feel like that part would be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God doesn't hear the wicked or the godless, at all. I guess he's selectively deaf.
Yeah.
To those particular people, which that would be us. And that kind of, I don't know, I feel like that throws a wrench in some apologist arguments.
I kind of agree.
Yeah. So maybe
God's not always watching us. Fuck you. You know how to get away with shit? Be godless.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they think we're atheists for anyway, right? So we can sin without any repercussion. Of course, they believe that there are still repercussions of us doing it.
Yeah. So
I don't really understand. If they think that we're going to be punished for it anyway, I don't know why it matters to them so much.
I don't know. For that particular argument, it's this whole God and sin thing doesn't even prevent Christians from doing the exact same sinful shit. So.
Oh, yeah. And we know they do.
Yeah. So I don't understand why it should matter. As far as wanting to, it doesn't seem like a incentive to deconvert from any kind of religion because you can still do the same shit and you just ask for forgiveness.
It actually makes it kind of worse because you claim and strive to live this kind of life and I guess do wrong when you live by this code. So it's kind of worse because you're doing something against your code. If you just don't live by the code, it's not really against the code. Because we don't really live by the code.
Exactly.
So it's kind of worse for y'all.
So anyways, God goes on to elaborate and say that the fate of the wicked, which would be wicked or the godless,
You mean Job?
Well, Job. Yes, Job is saying this.
Yeah.
Not God. Sorry if I misspoke.
It matters during this part anyway.
Job says that the fate of the wicked is bleak. They don't have any food and they also don't have a shitter to crap in.
I mean,
They don't even have an outhouse.
I don't know. We're godless and we have 4 toilets.
Yeah, we do. And in case you didn't know, Job enlightens us that wisdom is hidden from people and just simply cannot be found, because the only wisdom that can come about is the fear of God.
Okay.
I mean, I really am not convinced by the whole argument of, oh, well, you got to fear God in order to know shit. What?
Read
No.
books. That's how you fucking know shit.
He then reminisces, he being Job, sorry, we're still talking about Job. He reminisces about how good life was before God let everything go to shit. And he is robbed of his dignity and his health. Like,
that's
he's
true.
reminiscing about how good life was, and then God let stuff go to shit, and he was robbed of his dignity and health. He laments to God, but God just sort of mutes the TV, and it's like, I don't really want to hear this. It's kind of like a commercial, like a Sarah McLachlan commercial about dogs.
Ugh.
Like, I'm not gonna, no.
This is fucking the ACLU commercials.
Mute.
Ugh. The worst.
What's that song they play on it?
In the arms of an angel.
Arms of the angels.
Yes.
And you get a little dog that's got one tear rolling down its face.
It's like all matted and dirty.
This is Shelley. She's missing 3 legs and 1 eye. We have to feed her through a tube. Please donate $1 today.
$1 a day. Yeah. $1 a day.
And
you'll help save her and others like her.
Yep. So anyways, God,
I know we laugh,
Job,
but we're actually donating to an animal charity this month.
Well, yes, we are.
I mean, not that one.
No, I mean, I don't know. I really don't like those commercials just because of how they're shot, not exactly the actual effort that's being done. I just like playing on the emotions kind of thing, I think is a little janky.
I don't know. What bothers me about it is how much money they spend on advertising. Like, I feel like they could do, I mean, I realize the more they spend on advertising, generally the more money you can take in, but like TV, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money out, not toward the actual, like towards solving the actual issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'd have to pass our rigorous charity requirements in order for us to donate anything to them. So
it's true.
We haven't actually looked into the Sarah McLachlan charity thing yet. But anyway, Job continues to feel really bad for himself, and but kind of like one of those self-loathing kind of, oh, woe is me kind of lamenting at that point. Job then talks about how he won't have any kind of dirty thoughts about young girls.
What?
Here's a cookie, Job. We're doing the basic shit of society.
Look, God, I don't understand why you're doing this. I don't lust after little girls.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, you gotta make my life shit. I'm better than those people. So Job, he also lamenting to God, who, by the way, keep in mind, has the TV on mute right now. He screams at God saying, I don't lie, nor do I cheat on my wife. And okay, good for you.
This reminds me of that Chris Rock bit where he's like, you don't get a cookie for shit you're supposed to do.
Yeah. He feeds his servants and treats them good, and he's nice to really needy people. He never cared for any kind of wealth or gold or searching out any kind of buried treasure.
Says the guy who was just lamenting over how prosperous he used to be.
And he never idolized nothing.
Of course not.
Nope. He was always hospitable to strangers by giving them a good fucking.
What?
He laid down some pipe on every single visitor that he had. He gave them the big meat stick.
This seems sus.
I mean, as far as I read, Job gives them the good part of the meat.
Did you
not
read
just
it?
the tip.
Did you read it though?
I did.
I'm giving him major side eye.
Huh? You're giving me major side eye. Yes, she is. Anyways, so Job has never mistreated a tenant, and he welcomes God to explain his goddamn shit.
What if the tenant didn't want his pipe?
I mean, he probably was like, listen, you're getting the pipe whether you want it or not, so you better enjoy it.
That seems like a little bit of mistreatment of tenants.
Yeah. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
No, I mean, we're going to read it.
Huh?
Yeah, we're gonna read it. You did pretty good though. You did a good job.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if everybody just stopped listening right now?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
They wouldn't get the full picture?
No.
You got to fear God in order to know what 1 + 1 is. That's what this entire thing.
That is true.
Yep. Can't know what 1 + 1 is unless you know God.
I mean, is 1 + 1 really wisdom?
To some people. I mean, some people can't do basic
What,
math.
3-year-olds?
I don't know.
I don't know when you learn 1 + 1.
I mean, I don't know. Not 3 because that's before you're in school.
I mean, I learned shit before I was in school. I knew how to read and write before I was in school.
Nobody's that dedicated.
Well, I am.
What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
So we had a little bit of a talk, and apparently, I got some things wrong.
Yeah, you didn't do too bad though.
We're gonna go over it, and we're gonna figure out what's right because we care about our integrity here.
Yeah.
Just in case. That's why I drink every Friday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because you care about integrity?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm drinking raspberry lemonade right now. What are you drinking?
I've just got a regular Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say that I have to preface that to make sure you guys know it's not full of whiskey too.
Just plain Diet Coke this time. All right. Well, are you ready to start?
I totally am.
Okay. So today we're going to be going over Job 25 through 31. And, we've gone through a lot of Job. And today is some of the same shit, different day kind of stuff. But there's a little bit additional information and stuff going on. And so, but it's pretty much, it's very similar to what we've seen so far in Job. So are you ready to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time we ended where Job was talking about how he suffers without judgment and the wicked face death, right?
Yep.
So Bildad comes in and says basically righteousness is impossible, and that's where we're going to start, okay?
Okay.
Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "Dominion and all belong to God. He establishes order in the heights of the heavens. Can his forces be numbered? On whom does his light not rise? How then can a mortal be righteous before God? How can one born of a woman be pure?" Fucking women.
Yeah, I know. The Bible's so misogynistic.
"If even the moon is not bright and the stars are not pure in his eyes, how much less a mortal who is but a maggot, a human being who is only a worm?" I know, like, I really dislike the way that this scripture, because, this is the Old Testament, this is shared in all the Abrahamic religions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really bothers me how lowly they view people.
Yeah.
Like humans are worthless, maggots, worms. Like I don't understand the reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say humans have no value, but clearly they have value to God.
Right.
Because he cares what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in the story, not in real life, but
right. In the story.
In the story, he cares what they do. So I guess it's hard for me to understand if he cares about their worship, he cares about their love, he cares that they do what he says, then it seems like they're worth more than a maggot or a worm.
Right. I mean, you gotta imagine, like, what if the Israelites were just like, fuck off, God? Like, we don't care. Like, nobody cared about God.
I mean, if nobody cared about God, we wouldn't be reading this.
Well, yeah, true. But my point is that I feel like they're way more important than God would let them on. But I also feel like this is kind of indicative of the toxic nature of the theology of the Bible.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, is that the idea that the dehumanization and denigration of people, and telling them they're worthless, like, this is very damaging to people, especially as you're raising your children and indoctrinating them as they go. Like, this kind of the way that they value people in this way it's really not great.
Right.
Like, I think it can be very damaging to a person. I know there are I've heard lots of Christians talk about how they are nothing and worthless. Mm-hmm. And, and that's just so sad to me. It's just so sad to me that their religion, something that matters so much to them, values them so little.
Right.
But, in reality, step outside of theology, in reality, religion would be nothing without their followers. Where would they get money?
Right.
Right? Because that's what it is, money. The nothing that now I think currently I'm talking about Abrahamic religions. Nothing that Abrahamic religions bring to the world like would be lost if they just went away.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. Of course, there are some people who really depend on their faith, but I'm not necessarily talking about faith, but like the actual structure, the religions. You know, like I was reading the other day that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, that church is worth between $1 and $200 billion.
Yeah.
That is wild. The Vatican is worth $30 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. The Mormon church is unreal in how much they own, like the value of that. They would be nothing without the money of their followers. I mean, same with like Ken Copeland and who's that other weird curly haired fuck from Texas? Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
I mean, how many jets would these people have without their followers? None. How many millions of dollars worth of mansions would they have? None. So like they're getting money.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like it's all about money.
It does definitely seem like it's all about money, or mostly about money.
Not for the individual followers.
You know what I saw the other day?
What?
I saw this, she's a preacher, and like she apparently quote unquote died in the middle of her sermon.
Okay.
And fell down, wasn't moving at all, but she would only come back alive if people donated enough. Like people literally are coming up and just throwing dollar bills on her.
That's gross. Like that's manipulation. And that's what I'm saying. Like the people who, generally speaking, the people who are in positions of power, you know, like in the hierarchy of, I mean, I guess it depends on the religion you're talking about, because there are a lot of like evangelical stuff that's not really, it's really fragmented. There is no central organization like there is for the Mormon church or the Catholic church. It's very different for like Baptist churches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I mean, you could have, there are absolutely certainly preachers and pastors who have individual churches who are not just in it for money, right? There certainly are those people who are in it to preach God and everything else. But the people who were in it to set it up, to spread it, there have been a lot of people who have used religion to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't even remember how we got on this, but without the people, not only would the religions as structures, like as organizations, cease to exist because they wouldn't have money to. But I mean, God wouldn't really, if people disappeared from the planet, God would be not a thing.
Right.
So to me, humans have value.
Right.
Even in the scripture instance, they should still have value, but they're not taught that.
Right. Well, we got onto this subject talking about how toxic this kind of teaching is, because basically the humans are like the integral part of all of this, but God wants them to think that they're not, that they're disposable or worth nothing or whatever. It's common, like toxic, relationship kind of.
Yeah, but it's confusing because then we've also read parts of the Bible where he talks about how they're his children and he loves them. So it's just, it's really strange. Like I don't understand. And anybody who says that there's not contradictions in the Bible, just, this is a significant one.
Yeah, it's definitely
and
like an internal contradiction.
Yeah, and there are many examples of humans being worth nothing and humans being worth everything. Like, so it's very strange. Anyway, do you want to continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry. So that's all we're actually going to hear from the Job's friends today, just from Bildad. And now we're going to hear from Job. Okay. So Job is going to respond. How you have helped the powerless, how you have saved the arm that is feeble, what advice you have offered to one without wisdom, and what great insight you have displayed. Who has helped you utter these words, and whose spirit spoke from your mouth? I feel like he's being super sarcastic here.
He is definitely being super sarcastic.
Because he's already told him that everything they say is fucking useless to him.
I feel like this part needs to be said with like a Jack Daniels bottle and, him stumbling all over the place.
So you're saying we need Brocephus?
Oh, well, what feeble hands have you helped out? Like I feel like it definitely needs like a drunken uncle kind of touch to it, or at least whenever you listen to it, that's what you should hear.
Okay. All right. You ready to talk about how unfathomable God's ways are?
Oh, am I ever ready?
Okay. The dead are in deep anguish, those beneath the waters and all that live in them. The realm of the dead is naked before God. Destruction lies uncovered. He spreads out the northern skies over empty space. He suspends the earth over nothing. He wraps up the waters in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. Actually, they do. That's called fucking rain. I mean, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not only like how much water vapor is in the air. There's other things that go into it, like temperature and everything like that. But yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the water evaporates, turns into clouds, and then when it gets to be too much, it like condensates within the clouds, right, and then falls.
Well, yeah, but that kind of requires like a loss of energy or like a cooling off. So I'm saying like it's not just the sheer weight of the clouds. It has other factors to do with it, but yeah.
Sure. Well, sure. I realize that's very basic, where he's like, he wraps the waters in the clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. Like, I get it's very basic, but I mean, they kind of do.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. This is one of those contradictory things with reality.
Okay. He covers the face of the full moon, spreading his clouds over it. He marks out the horizon on the face of the waters for a boundary between light and darkness. The pillars of the heavens quake, aghast at his rebuke. By his power, he churned up the sea. I thought that was Poseidon. By his wisdom, he cut Rahab to pieces. By his breath, the skies became fair. His hand pierced the gliding serpent. And these are but the outer fringe of his works. How faint the whisper we hear of him. Who then can understand the thunder of his power? Yeah,
sorry. I was looking up like what part of the water cycle causes it to rain. It's actually closer to what you're saying than how I was thinking about it, because it's water droplets that combine and they get bigger and bigger, and then they start to fall. So yeah, I mean, I'd have to defer to you on the whole wrapping in clouds so that they don't fall and shit.
Well, I mean, temperature and cold fronts and all those kind of things have to do with weather. But like, I mean, pretty much they're just so much evaporates and into the cloud, and becomes the clouds, and there's gets to be too much and it falls.
Well, yeah, so it's when the droplets that are collected in the clouds get too heavy to stay suspended in the clouds, then they fall. So it's all about, like I said, it's a lot close. Like there's more of an effect on the weight
of get apple
the water
bottoms.
droplets. Huh?
They get apple bottoms and they gotta go.
They develop apple bottoms and then they drop it like it's hot.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that was the section before we went back to. This last section is, I mean, just basically nobody can understand the power of God. Like, he does these things and we don't understand it. That's great, Job. These are like the first arguments of we don't get it, therefore God.
Right.
Okay, so Job continued his discourse. This is starting Job chapter 27, in case anybody's wondering. As surely as God lives, who has denied me justice, the Almighty, who has made my life bitter? As long as I have life within me, the breath of God in my nostrils, my lips will not say anything wicked, and my tongue will not utter lies. I will never admit you are in the right. Till I die, I will not deny my integrity. I will maintain my innocence and never let go of it. My conscience will not reproach me as long as I live. So he's continuing to maintain his innocence.
Yeah.
But he also says he basically says he's going to keep his faith in God.
Right.
Though he kind of challenges him and he doesn't understand and he's upset, he's still he's also mad because he feels like God has denied him justice because he won't like bring charges against him.
Right.
For the things that he's doing. But he still says he's going to maintain his faith.
Right.
Okay. May my enemy be like the wicked, my adversary like the unjust. For what hope have the godless when they are cut off, when God takes away their life? Does God listen to their cry when distress comes upon them? Will they find the delight in the Almighty? Will they call on God at all times? I will teach you about the power of God. The ways of the Almighty I will not conceal. You have all seen this yourselves. Why then this meaningless talk? He's asking his friends. Like,
right. What the fuck good are you, huh? Is basically what I get from that.
Yeah. Here is the fate God allots to the wicked, the heritage a ruthless man receives from the Almighty. However many his children, their fate is the sword. His offspring will never have enough to eat. The plague will bury those who survive him, and their widows will not weep for them. Though he heaps up silver like dust and clothes like piles of clay, what he lays upon the righteous will wear, and the innocent will divide his silver. The house he builds is like a moth's cocoon, like a hut made by a watchman. He lies down wealthy, but will do so no more. When he opens his eyes, all is gone. Terrors overtake him like a flood. A tempest snatches him away in the night. The east wind carries him off, and he is gone. It sweeps him out of his place. It hurls itself against him without mercy, as he flees headlong from his power. It claps its hands in derision and hisses him out of his place. So I do think this is kind of interesting, because in the previous chapters, he's talked about how good things happen to the wicked people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's saying this is what awaits the wicked.
Right.
So I think he still believes that bad things await the wicked, but he has to, he sees that bad things also don't happen to wicked people. Like, wicked people have fine lives, and people who aren't wicked, like him, like he claims he's not, have bad things happen to them. So I don't know. I'm not really sure the purpose of this here.
Well, I think that there's two different distinctions being made here. I think Job, when he talks about how the wicked do get away with things, I think he's talking about like this plane of existence. And
you think this is after?
Right. So this is like the end result, or like what happens after we die, or what happens in the eternity after this existence. Like, I think that he's lamenting over two separate things here.
I think you're right. Yeah, because he talks about how the fate God allots to the wicked. Like,
right.
And if it talks about, will they, that they essentially won't get any, sorry, I'm trying to look for, they basically won't have any delight in God. And the only way you would have delight in God is after death.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, do you want to talk about wisdom?
Sure.
Okay.
I love wisdom.
Okay, let's talk about wisdom. This is in Job 28. We're starting from the beginning of that now. There is a mine for silver and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth and copper is smelted from ore. Mortals put an end to the darkness. They search out the farthest recesses for ore in the blackest darkness. Far from human dwellings, they cut a shaft in places untouched by human feet. Far from other people, they dangle and sway. The earth, from which food comes, is transformed below as by fire. Lapis lazuli comes from its rocks, and its dust contains nuggets of gold. No bird of prey knows that hidden path. No falcon's eye has seen it. Proud beasts do not set foot on it, and no lion prowls there. People assault the flinty rock with their hands and lay bare the roots of the mountains. They tunnel through the rock. Their eyes see all its treasures. They search the sources of the rivers and bring hidden things to light. But where can wisdom be found? Where does understanding dwell? No mortal comprehends its worth. It cannot be found in the land of the living. The deep says, it is not in me. The sea says, it is not with me. It cannot be bought with the finest gold, nor can its price be weighed out in silver. It cannot be bought with the gold of Ophir, with precious onyx or lapis lazuli. Neither gold nor crystal can compare with it, nor can it be had for jewels of gold. Coral and jasper are not worthy of mention. The price of wisdom is beyond rubies. The topaz of Cush cannot compare with it. It cannot be bought with pure gold.
Okay.
So wisdom is priceless, and it cannot be found among the land of like reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where then does wisdom come from?
I don't know. In order to look up how rain happens, or what's the process for rain falling, I went to Noah, Noaa. And I gained some wisdom right there. I
It's
feel
funny
like
you were talking about rain, and then you talk about Noah, and I just automatically thought you meant like Noah in the Bible.
Oh no, that's why I specified Noaa.
I got you.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Wisdom's kind of easy to find now, especially with the internet. Before that, we had books and shit. And even before we had books and stuff, we as a social species learned from each other. Kind of a monkey see, monkey do kind of situation.
I learned stuff from people all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like wisdom is pretty material, like here in this reality and everything. I don't think we got to invent some kind of alternate reality.
But we're going
for
to.
wisdom.
So are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do that anyway. You want to hear about it?
Oh, I'm totally up for it.
Okay. So where then does wisdom come from? Where does understanding dwell? It is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, concealed even from the birds in the sky. Destruction and death say, only a rumor of it has reached our ears. So destruction and death don't understand wisdom. Okay. God understands the way to it. He alone knows where it dwells, for he views the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. When he established the force of the wind and measured out the waters, when he made a decree for the rain and a path for the thunderstorm, then he looked at wisdom and appraised it. He confirmed it and tested it. And he said to the human race, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to shun evil is understanding.
You know, I don't understand why we have to recontextualize what wisdom is, because like I don't understand why wisdom is characterized as just being fearful of God.
I'll be honest with you. I actually think it's also kind of weird that right in the beginning of at the beginning of this section, Job 28:20, right before that, it's basically saying wisdom doesn't come from this reality. Like
right.
Wisdom, you can't find wisdom here. But then right here in Job 28:28, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to shun evil is understanding. So basically, in order to have wisdom, you just have to fear God. It tells you right here.
Yeah. But it kind of seems to me like the only way that you can have any kind of knowledge is by fearing what God will do to you if you fuck with him.
Well, I think that's another reason why I'm not going to say all religious people, because it certainly isn't, but the more fundamentalist religions,
yeah,
they fear education and knowledge.
Yeah, and I mean, I've even heard, non-fundamentalists also try to point this out and say, like PragerU, which, I mean, they're a little fundy, but...
I would consider PragerU fundy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was just going to say, PragerU, I've seen them recently say that, like, oh, well, college will make you stop believing in God. And
so let's call our thing a university, so it sounds smart.
Yeah. I guess I can't really think of a non-fundamentalist group or organization that has painted like college and higher education. Well, I was going to say what they would call worldly knowledge as being a good thing. But I mean, it's reinforced in the Bible saying that, there is no wisdom but the fear of God. I think that's like in Psalm something or another.
And in Job.
Yeah.
So fearing God is wisdom and shunning evil is understanding. So those are the only things that you need. You need to fear God and you need to shun evil.
Yeah, but you see, in this context, the evil things are just things that God doesn't like. And
well, I mean, yeah, when you set yourself up to be the boss and people are scared of you, you get to decide that things you don't like are bad.
Well, right. I know that, but I mean, that's the problem that I have. It's like, oh, well, so you're not telling me why this is evil or why this is bad. You're just saying, well, God don't like it.
Yes.
I mean, like
that's what happens when you're the boss. You know, the big boss at my work,
yeah,
he doesn't like Times New Roman font. So it is banned and everything has to be an Arial font. I shit you not. So in my work world, Times New Roman is evil.
Oh, wow.
So when you're the big boss, you get to make the rules.
Yeah.
And they have decided that this is the big boss they want. I don't know why. I would just not have this boss. But this is their boss.
Yep, this is the bed that they've decided to lay in.
Yep, so he gets to decide what's evil and what isn't. Okay, so that's what we know about wisdom.
Yep.
All right. Job continued his discourse in chapter 29. How I long for the months gone by, for the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone on my head, and by his light I walked through the darkness. Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's intimate friendship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me, when my path was drenched with cream and the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil.
Okay.
He used to be prosperous and have all of the things, and he wishes for those days again. Yeah. Which, to be fair, when your life is kind of shit like Job's is, I'd want this back too. Sounds way more better.
Yeah.
When I went to the gate of the city and took my seat in the public square, young men saw me and stepped aside, and the old men rose to their feet. The chief men refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voices of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roofs of their mouths. Whoever heard me spoke well of me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor who cried for help and the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was father to the needy and took up the case of the stranger. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. I thought, I will die in my own house. My days as numerous as the grains of sand. My roots will reach to the water, and the dew will lie all night on my branches. My glory will not fade. The bow will never be new in my hand. People listened to me expectantly, waiting in silence for my counsel. After I had spoken, they spoke no more. My words fell gently on their ears. They waited for me as for showers, and drank my words as the spring rain. When I smiled at them, they scarcely believed it. The light of my face was precious to them. I chose the way for them and sat as their chief. I dwelt as a king among his troops. I was like one who confronts mourners.
Wow.
So
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Did I hear something in there about how his glory is not going to fade?
Yeah.
I mean, typically they use glory for, dick.
I mean, maybe. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, he's not only is he lamenting over his, he's not really lamenting. He's reminiscing about how prosperous he was and how high in esteem everyone held him.
Right.
He was a very important person and very well loved and very well respected. So in chapter 30, he continues, but now they mock me, men younger than I, whose fathers I would have disdained to put with my sheepdogs. Of what use was the strength of their hands to me, since their vigor had gone from them? Haggard from want and hunger, they roamed the parched land in desolate wastelands at night. In the brush, they gathered salt herbs, and their food was the root of the broom bush. Broom bush. I didn't bother to look it up. They were banished from human society, shouted at as if they were thieves. They were forced to live in the dry stream beds among the rocks and in holes in the ground. They brayed among the bushes and huddled in the undergrowth. The base and nameless brood, they were driven out of the land. And now those young men mock me in song. I have become a byword among them. They detest me and keep their distance. They do not hesitate to spit in my face. Now that God has unstrung my bow and afflicted me, they throw off restraint in my presence. On my right, the tribe attacks. They lay snares for my feet. They build their siege ramps against me. They break up my road. They succeed in destroying me. No one can help him, they say. They advance as through a gaping breach. Amid the ruins they come rolling in. Terrors overwhelm me. My dignity is driven away as by the wind. My safety vanishes like a cloud. So this is his position now. This is how he's treated now. And of course that's upsetting to him, so he's lamenting about it.
Yeah, as he's known to do throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, he's going to continue lamenting now about his health. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And now my life ebbs away. Days of suffering grip me. Night pierces my bones. My gnawing pains never rest. In his great power, God becomes like clothing to me. He binds me like the neck of my garment. He throws me into the mud, and I am reduced to dust and ashes. I cry out to you, God, but you do not answer. I stand up, but you merely look at me. You turn on me ruthlessly. With the might of your hand, you attack me. You snatch me up and drive me out before the wind. You toss me about in the storm. I know you will bring me down to death, to the place appointed for all the living. Surely no one lays a hand on a broken man when he cries for help in distress. Have I not wept for those in trouble? Has my soul not grieved for the poor? Yet when I hoped for good, evil came. When I looked for light, then came darkness. So he's upset that God is not helping him. God's not responding. He's in grief. He's crying out for God, and God's not paying attention or not purposefully not responding. Just he's not getting a response, and it is upsetting.
Right.
The churning inside me never stops. Days of suffering confront me. I go about blackened but not by the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry for help. I have become a brother of jackals, a companion of owls. My skin grows black and peels. Ugh. My body burns with fever. My lyre is turned to mourning, and my pipe to the sound of wailing.
Okay.
So, woe is me, Job, I'm suffering so badly. Okay, so now we're going to go through some of the things that we're starting Job 31. We're going to go through some of the things that he did do and that he didn't do.
Right.
He's essentially kind of arguing his case for why he's righteous.
Okay.
Okay. I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at young women. For what is our lot from God above, our heritage from the Almighty on high? Is it not ruin for the wicked, disaster for those who do wrong? Does he not see my ways and count my every step? So the first thing he did was close his eyes to lust. He doesn't look lustfully upon young women.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yep. If I have walked with falsehood or my foot has hurried after deceit, let God weigh me in honest scales, and he will know that I am blameless. If my steps have turned from the path, if my heart has been led by my eyes, or if my hands have been defiled, then may others eat what I have sown, and may my crops be uprooted. Okay, so he's not deceitful.
Right.
Yeah. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then may my wife grind another man's grain.
What? So wait, if he's lurked at someone else's door, so just stand outside his door?
No.
His wife should be able to grind her shit on some other dude?
Well, I mean, so when he lurked at my neighbor's door, this section is about being faithful to his wife.
Okay.
So like that, I think that kind of means like going after the neighbor's wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if he's done any of those things, may his wife grind another man's grain, and may other men sleep with her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen, right? So,
No.
I mean, that we know of. Maybe. We don't know.
That he'll admit to at least.
We don't really know his wife.
No.
Anyway, for that would have been wicked, a sin to be judged. It is a fire that burns to destruction. It would have uprooted my harvest, but it didn't happen because he's been faithful, right?
Right.
Okay. If I have denied justice to any of my servants, whether male or female, I don't know why that matters. When they had grievance against me, what will I do when God confronts me? What will I answer when called to account? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one form us both within our mothers? So he's saying he's treated his servants just.
Right.
Okay. If I have denied the desires of the poor, or let the eyes of the wicked go weary, if I have kept my bread to myself, not sharing it with the fatherless, but from my youth I reared them as a father would, and from my birth I guided the widow. If I have seen anyone perishing for lack of clothing, or the needy without garments, and their hearts did not bless me for warming them with the fleece for my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, knowing that I had influence in court, then let my arm fall from the shoulder, let it be broken off from the joint. For I dreaded destruction from God, and for fear of his splendor I could not do such things. So he's saying he was benevolent to the needy.
Right.
Okay. If I have put my trust in gold, or said to pure gold, you are my security. If I have rejoiced over my great wealth, the fortune my hands have gained. So he doesn't trust in riches or wealth, right?
Right.
If I have regarded the sun in its radiance, or the moon moving in splendor, so that my heart was secretly enticed, and my hand offered them a kiss of homage, then these would also be sins to be judged, for I would be unfaithful to God on high. So he's never worshipped idols, right? Or anything other than God.
Right.
All right. If I have rejoiced at my enemy's misfortune, or gloated over the trouble that came to him, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by invoking a curse against their life. So he's not been vengeful, right?
Right.
If those of my household had never said, who has not been filled with Job's meat?
Okay.
Apparently
this is
Job,
that dick I was talking about.
yeah, so Job fills everyone with his meat. But no stranger had to spend the night in the street, for my door was always open to the traveler. So Job gives his meat to every traveler.
Right.
He's hospitable to strangers.
This sounds weird.
If I have concealed my sin as people do by hiding my guilt in my heart, because I so feared the crowd and so dreaded the contempt of the clans that I kept silent and would not go outside. So he's not hypocritical, right?
Right.
Oh, that I had someone to hear me. I sign now my defense. Let the Almighty answer me. Okay, so he's saying basically the defense rests. And so we kind of went through all the things that Job is saying. These are the things I did right. I did all these things right. And now he wants an answer from God. God. Let my accuser put his indictment in writing. Apparently he wants God to write it down for him.
Oh, okay.
Surely I would wear it on my shoulder. I would put it on like a crown. I would give him an account of my every step. I would present it to him as the ruler. I think that's interesting that he talks about having his sins, then he would wear his sins like a crown.
Right.
I don't know. This seems kind of like Jesus-y with the crown of thorns.
Right.
I don't know. That kind of, it made me think of that.
Okay.
If my land cries out against me and all of its furrows are wet with tears, if I have devoured its yield without payment or broken the spirits of its tenants, then let briars come up instead of wheat and stinkweed instead of barley. The words of Job are ended.
You know, that's what I'm going to start saying every time I'm done talking. I'm just going to be like, and the words of John have ended.
I don't know. When I read that part at the very end, I was like, Finn. So that's all for this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got through several chapters. Next week, we're going to start Job 32.
Yay.
And we're going to be, I would say introduced to a new character, but we're not really introduced, right? So in the beginning of this chapter, we were introduced to Job's three friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar.
Right.
Okay. And those are the only three people who came to see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, out of the blue, without any introduction, without any understanding of where this motherfucker came from, Elihu shows up.
Elihu?
Elihu. I don't know if that's how you say it. Elihu.
Elihu.
So somehow this guy, who's young, he's a young guy apparently, because Job's three friends stop answering him. They stop talking to him. And so, Elihu, he gets really mad at Job, and he's also mad at the three friends, but we have no idea where this fucker came from.
Right.
Okay. So Elihu shows up next week. We're going to meet him next episode. He's going to provide some youthful insight and explain why previous answers have been inadequate.
Okay.
He's going to talk about how sincere he is and why it's important that Job listen to him. He's going to tell Job where he went wrong.
Right.
And how God speaks. He's going to talk about the intervention of the angels, why Job is suffering, and basically explain that God is just and sees wickedness. He's going to talk a little bit about repentance, but he's also going to talk to him about how Job's sins are compounding, which I guess you could say everyone's sins would be compounding, but then at the same time, not really, because all the sins are equal, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Right.
If you do one, you do all, right? Okay. And he tells him that Elihu tells Job that he argues inconsistently, and that talking to God is useless, and God rules from rationality.
Right.
And that God also answers sufferers. So I feel like maybe he's getting it. God will answer him. I don't know. We'll see where he goes with it. Talks about God's greatness. And he mentions his lightning dick, which I think is really important.
Gotta love that lightning dick.
Yeah. But he does agree that God's power is inexplicable. And then how you can't really stand before God.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So we're going to meet Elihu next week, and he's basically going to be doing all the talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then the week after that, we're going to meet the Lord.
Ooh, the Lord.
The Lord is going to speak to Job.
Oh, shit.
So we're almost there. Next week, we have a surprise guest. I mean, it's not a surprise. I just told you who it is, but we didn't know about this person before. They just magically showed up.
I'm just thinking about when the Lord shows up and he's like, Job, you are fucked. All right. Well, if you guys want to tune in next week to see what Elihu completely has to say to Job, just kind of springing up out of nowhere.
I'm kind of glad we're getting out of the back and forth between these three fucks and Job, though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Job kind of dropped the mic this time with like, y'all haven't said anything that's worth a lick. So fuck y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyways, if you guys want to hear what Elihu has to say, then y'all need to tune in next week. So anyways, if you guys would like to leave us a comment down below, we'd really love to hear what y'all think about Job and Eliphaz and all of his friends and everything like that, shitting on him. Leave us a comment down down below. And then after that, you need to smash that like button and then subscribe if you like this kind of Bible study.
And as always, don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.